Good afternoon. What a exhausting week. Thank you for joining yet another Zoom. I appreciate you all for being here. It's an honor for me to be here at the first virtual CMC South Conference, 2020 Math Vision for All. If you can, just drop in the chat. Let's light this chat up real quick. What's your name? What's your role? Where are you from? And I want to know what your go-to stress food is, because I ain't gonna lie, I've been doing a little bit of stress eating this week. Mine are there's like a new technology of Cheez-Its that are super light, and it's the technology is amazing in these Snap It Cheez-Its type of stuff. So yeah. Oh, you can't see me. Thank you. Right. Hold on. There we go. Because I have my video off. Can you see me there? So hey, Grace, Kelly, Anna, I thought I saw the Notice and Wonder Woman in there earlier. My maths Khaleesi, Joe Bowler, saw you in there. Thank you all for being here. Let's keep dropping that stuff in there. Seriously, I cannot believe we made it to the end of the week. It felt like this week felt like a month, a year. And I want to talk a little bit today about, distance learning. We're in this storm of distance learning right now, right? And the waves of the problems are coming, and we maybe get some solid ground, and they attack us. The waves attack us again. But I want to talk today about how we can, as math teachers, right? We're the problem solvers. How we can collectively solve some of these problems. Because they're going to keep coming, and to persevere through this storm. While we're in the eye of this storm, I don't think any one of us could have imagined a storm like this. If you think about New Year's Eve 2019, no one could have imagined what this year would have been like for us. But we're here. We're resilient, and we're math teachers. So I'm going to start this off with a little bit of Annie Fetter's magic here. I love me some Notice and Wonder Woman. What do you notice? What do you wonder? You may notice, this conference is not at Palm Springs anymore, in beautiful sunny Palm Springs. And now we've got this, the Brady Bunch, Hollywood Squares gallery view. I'm pretty sure everyone's experienced the Zoom fatigue. So I know a lot of folks are wondering how effective a virtual conference can be, how much connection we can get through this screen, because we know what this connection has been like in person. So I don't know if I have all the answers to that. I just wanted to toss that idea out there, and I know that we're thinking about these things. I do know that CMC, it's an honor to be here, because CMC is my favorite conference to come and recharge. I thought I knew what it was like to be drained before 2020. And when I would get to this time of year, this is the longest stretch of the semester, right? Let's be honest about that. When I would get to this stretch of the year, I would be exhausted, burnt, ready, just dragging myself to CMC, right? If I'm a teacher Tesla, I need to get to CMC, this teacher Tesla station, so that I can recharge, so that I can see my people, and then so that I can make this through to the rest of the year. These conferences are the only things that would get me to the end of the year, to Thanksgiving break. It's too long of a stretch already. And now we're talking about 2020, so it's like inception time. Even the time that was already too long is gotten even like 4 or 5 times, however many levels of inception deep. It's that much longer. So I feel you on that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you for being here. I know you're exhausted. I know we're exhausted. I know we're in Zoom fatigue, especially when we know, like, the way we used to recharge at CMC South. My favorite thing to do is just gas up. I really don't have a Tesla. I don't have money like that. But to gas up, get to CMC South, connect with some people. These are some pictures from last year. Some of my favorite people to see. Rocket, I didn't get a picture, but the first session I attended was a session on math and social justice with Dr. Chris Childs. It like kicked it off, just lit the fire, and it kept going from there. Went to Christina Lincoln Moore's session on mathematics and mindfulness right after that with my buddy Dan Loevanos and connected with him. And then I had the privilege to have a seat saved for me by the amazing Peg Cagle and the Notice and Wonder Woman herself, Annie Fetter. And I get to see all these amazing people, right? We get to see all these like math superheroes, rock stars, the people that we love and that we admire, and we realize they're really amazing people and super down-to-earth, genuine people too. And one of my favorite things to do is, like on the top two slides, is take new buddies that had never been to CMC, my friend Jesus Huerta, and I got to introduce him. He's like, oh, you need to introduce me to Dwayne Habecker. Can you introduce me? Is that Fawn Wing? Can you introduce me to Fawn Wing? I was like, oh yeah, I know some people. So I introduced them to Dwayne, introduced Jesus to Fawn, and then probably the highlight of my CMC South conference last year was I timed it right. As everybody was about to hit to lunch, I grabbed Fawn and said, hey, Fawn, what do you want to eat? We want to get some pho and banh mi. She says, I'm down. I DoorDashed that sucker. And as people were walking out to go eat lunch, to go stand for an hour line at the deli, I had the DoorDash dude come in to give me pho and banh mi sandwiches. And we just sat there. I think I passed by Dr. Berry right outside of the convention center there. So I had to have hashtag pho with Fawn right there. And that was, got to enjoy that conversation and make my next session. One of my favorite things about last year was a couple of folks from CMC South, so a couple of my mentors, Robert Kaplinski, John Stevens, Matt Vaudry, and a lot more that I can't mention, kept organizing these nightly events. And they just kept getting bigger every year. So last year it happened at Shakey's Pizza. And because that was the biggest place, and it was amazing. It was, we had a night of like 200 plus, 250 math teachers hanging out, having some beverages, eating some pizza, some greasy fried chicken, and some Mojos. It was amazing. I remember talking to one of my buddies, John, there about, just having the conversation and keeping that going, talking about individualism and collectivism, about how we need more collectivism in math class. And yeah, just take a look at this. This is way better than Where's Waldo, right? You can see like how many people are in here. So I know I don't want to get people sad, like, hey, we're not there. We're gonna get back there, right? We're gonna get back there. It's gonna happen. So I want you to like type in the chat, but don't hit enter yet. Think about. I want to use this strategy it's called a chat waterfall. I don't know if you use it, but sometimes when you only have the chat, this is like a really good strategy to use. I'm going to ask you a question and I want you to type your response in the chat, but don't press enter until I tell you. Okay, and then I'm gonna give the go ahead, and I usually say something like release the Kraken, or I like to play Don't Go Chasing Waterfall, Vols by TLC, but I don't know if there's some copyright issue right now, but I do that in my class. So I got the waterfall going. Who are you hoping to reconnect with this weekend? Today, tomorrow, maybe you did earlier, whether it's via Zoom or something. And what are you excited to learn about? So I'm going to give you some wait time right now. Remember, type and hold or chat waterfall. And then I'm going to give you about 30, 40 more seconds. But I want to hear you. And I like the chat waterfall because then when I hit waterfall and I play some TLC, I can do a little dancing. I become a phenomenal dancer in the Zoom era right here because all I have to do is like dance in this square. People don't got to know what's going on with the rest of the uncoordinatedness, So think about that, and let's make it rain with some chat right now. Who are you hoping to reconnect with? Holy cow, that chat is moving. I gotta drag my chat. I see some Joe Bowler. I see someone with their first CMC. Nice. Someone wants to learn about Nearpod. Robert Kaplinski. Boxcar and One-Eyed Jacks. I don't even know what that is. I need to learn about that. Jed Butler, that's one of my favorite dudes. ELL strategies. Luis, I hear you on that. Your first CMC. I'm a lot of first CMCs right here. Dan Meyer or Dam Meyer. I like that. Let's start calling him Dam Meyer. He is damn amazing. Social justice. Yes. Okay. So that's going to keep going. I appreciate you guys. Libria, what's up? Straight into Campos. Yeah, you don't want to meet. You don't want to talk to that guy. That guy ain't got nothing. So keep those rolling. And then I don't know if they told you. I don't know if you guys do the Twitter thing, but I hope you do. But I want to make this a super engaging experience for you. So I did ask on Twitter if you didn't, if you could have these devices. You know, I'm a big fan of we're going to talk about two main math practices today: solving problems and persevering math practice number one, and then using appropriate tools strategically, because that's what we're doing right now. We got to MacGyver this distance learning thing. So if you got your cell phone in hand, grab a whiteboard and a marker if you have it, because we're going to go old school and new school. And then that is a 16-ounce bottle of water if you have something like that, like something like this. A cup, any kind of a cup will work. And then about 12 inches of tape. So don't worry if you don't have it right now, but just take a picture with your cell phone right there and then go and grab that, because we will take a little break, because an hour on a Zoom listening to this guy, that's too much, right? I'll give you some breaks. Brian, you can use beer. I'm looking at the judges. We just got an okay from the judges, right? Okay. So Annie, yes, 16 ounces of beer. Let's do it. All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use, first, the thing we're going to use from this, grab your cell phone, and we're going to use these appropriate tools strategically here. All right. Now, got that? So I want you to go and type on your cell phone, go to this bit.ly. It is case sensitive. So bit.ly/PairPod 2020, capital P, capital P. bit.ly/PairPod 2020. This, we're going to rock this. Okay, we're getting this going. Virtual CMC. All right, let me know when you're there. Should take you to some. What the heck? $404 error? Oh no. Yeah, it is case sensitive. Okay. The Russians, the damn Russians, and okay, maybe not PairPod 2020. I think it was Near Deck 2020. Try this one instead. PairPod or Near Deck. It doesn't work either. Oh God. Near Deck. This is awkward. Okay. You know what? I had my whole presentation planned with this stuff. So, is it getting hot in here? I'm going to take. Let me channel a little Christina Lincoln Moore. Can we take a little mindful break here? I need to regroup.
Hey, Ed, it's Rosa.
Yep.
We have Dr. Barry whose hand is up, so I'm not sure if his hand is up because he might have a solution to this, but I think a mindful break is good too.
Yep. We'll take the mindful break first. Let's so.
Okay.
Just put your feet on some solid ground, take some 8 deep belly breaths, and then breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Okay, I need to figure something out real quick. All right. So you know what? We're gonna roll with this, guys. I just crashed right there, a couple thousand people in the keynote. That's fine. Um, so I'm gonna be honest right here, okay? Uh,
Ed, we have a few people who say that Pear Deck 2020 does work for them.
that's not the one though. That's not the one. That's something else.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be honest. I had a really hard time accepting that I was gonna do this keynote today because I'm not in the classroom like you all. I'm a math consultant right now. I used to run a pretty awesome blended classroom for an independent study hybrid about 5 years ago and used a lot of technology, but that is not the same thing as teaching right now in a pandemic and what you all are doing. So I saw this tweet a couple of weeks ago from Justin Ion from Pennsylvania, and he talked about how teachers are drowning right now, right? And I didn't feel right trying to do this on my own, trying to tell you guys what you should do because I'm not doing this. Having a lot of imposter syndrome, and I decided the only way that I was going to do this is that if I could share this space with some of my friends who are actual teachers who are doing this. So I've spent a lot more time listening lately than I have been talking because I'm trying to listen. And I think we need a lot more of that. So I'd like to introduce you to a couple of my friends.
I feel like a first-year teacher again. I feel like before you could throw me in a classroom, didn't matter what you wanted me to teach, you could tell me 10 minutes before class, I was ready to go. Before you could throw me in a classroom and I could teach any math standard you wanted. And if I saw the kids' faces that they weren't understanding it, if they weren't getting it, I was able to open up my closet, pull out hundreds blocks, pull out cubes, pull out squares, and just explain it right there on the spot for the kids to make that connection between like, how is kindergarten math important in algebra? And now I'm sitting there, am I clear? Are you getting it? Are you following? Talk to me, please, please talk to me. And all I do is beg for kids to come and talk to me. And so it makes it very difficult when I can't see where they're learning or what they have.
I miss hearing my kids laugh. I miss hearing their reactions and their aha moments and their yeses, I got it. And I miss seeing the body language, the full body language that I normally get in the classroom. And I miss giving them the high fives and the excitement when we all get around a whiteboard and we come up with a solution. It sucks not to have that interaction. And that's why I got into teaching, and that's not here right now.
Like all of the strategies that I have for student engagement, all of the tools that I have in my tool belt for how to build community and how to get involved with the kids are just out the fucking window. Like none of them are viable anymore.
Do you want to see my puppy? I'll show you my puppy.
And I am tired of being a technology assistant to them. I'm like, can you try restarting? I'm done. I never knew that's a role I'm taking on. I did not sign up for that. So I think that just plain sucks at this point.
So my kids are not required to have their cameras. So I am constantly talking to blank dots, right?
They've got their camera off, or their camera is like looking at a ceiling fan, or I just see their forehead, or I don't, I see some part of the wall and I can't reach out to them.
I do love the kids on virtual who are like private messaging me. Can I go to the bathroom? I'm like, just go to the bathroom. You don't need to. Can I go get something off my printer? Wow, I'm amazed you have a printer that works. I don't have one, but go get it. Go, just get.
Right, got Zoom bombed, man. So I had, and so a kid came into my session and he had the first name and the last name of a kid that's in my class and just starts dropping F-bombs, dude. Like it might have been like 5-7 seconds before I was able to like mute him and remove him from my classroom. He was faster than Fawn, dude. He got off a bunch of them.
I didn't go into teaching to push papers and manage a website. I'm seeing my students that I care about and I want to provide the best education for. Like, I want to deliver this lesson and have them learn how to, create a sample space for this probability situation using an area model. And I want them to really get it by the end of the class period. But like, my son can't find his worksheet and lost his purple crayon. And then I'm sitting here going like, okay, who do I help right now? And then I hate that feeling, because then I feel like a terrible teacher and a terrible mom all at the same time.
Before I would have kids and I'd be like, oops, I brought 2 lunches. Here, let me share with you. I'm not providing food for kids. I'm not providing sweaters for kids. I'm not providing extra pencils, extra hugs, extra all that things. And although I teach 8th grade, they still need those hugs.
So trying to figure out how to build that sense of community, which is necessary for good teaching. Like, how to do that when you can't build that same community. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff about this. It's all hard. It's all really complicated. I gotta say though, the thing that I'm really struggling with the most, out of everything, like the social isolation, the distance learning, the tech issues, all of that, I gotta say, man, that the thing that is the worst is when some takes a tweet of yours and just turns it into a whole keynote. Like, ridiculous.
Oh, damn, I thought I had edited that part out. So I want to know what some of y'all are struggling with. And let's do this chat waterfall idea right here, please. Let me give you about 30 seconds to, I know some people are relating a lot to this, but I'm gonna give about 30 seconds. Imagine I'm playing, like I mixed it up and I didn't go with, the TLC Chasing Waterfalls, but maybe I went with a Milli Vanilli, Blame It on the Rain. You know what I mean? Get some water theme, okay? Sorry. So let's hit this chat waterfall. And what are some of the struggles that you have? Let's go. Release the Kraken right there. Blame It on the Rain. And I shouldn't be dancing to this. This is not. Yeah, Zoom fatigue. Man, the struggle is real. Your student is deaf and internet issues are getting between us and communicating. That's tough. Olivia, not knowing my kids are okay. Yeah. Ceiling fans, all the ceiling fans, right? Martin, we can't contact with families. Yeah. Worrying about their mental health. Yeah, supporting depressed students, where this is a pandemic, right? So thank you all for being honest. I appreciate your truths. I want to keep giving this space to my friends and yourselves. Thank you for sharing the space with them. What are some of the wins that my friends have had? This is what they've said.
Technology has saved me. Like, Desmos has, and I will scream from the mountaintops, as anybody who's using Desmos will. Like, it has been a saving grace for me for all of it. And I just, like, it sucks. Everything about this sucks. At the same time, I have 14 and 15-year-old kids talking about what it means to be discrete and continuous, what a function looks like. I have over 95% attendance now that now that most of the tech-ish has been resolved. I have a whole bunch of kids showing up to school, and that wouldn't have happened if we would have been in person.
Seriously, Desmos and Delta Math have gotten me through school from March through now. And it has saved me. It has saved my classes. It makes me look like I know what I'm talking about 24/7.
Yeah, I gotta say, out of everything, yeah, there's some pretty good stuff going on with the kids, but the thing that sort of keeps me going at this point is the team that I'm working with right now is so incredible that I'm like still, now I've been working with them for 4 months. So like I'm still sort of like, how am I a part of this team? They are so amazing. And we're regularly having those conversations about mental health, about what we need to be doing to show up every day, how to take care of ourselves, and not just in that like bullshit toxic positivity, go take a spa day for, no, like I can take a spa day, that's fine, there's still a fucking pandemic at the spa. Like, so having that team, and like not just the teachers but also the leadership team that I'm working with right now is so great, and I cannot sing their praises enough.
I can't tell you how many kids I've had send me messages, or parents send me messages, and I go back and I look at their transcripts, or I look at their grades, and these are not the valedictorians in competition. It is some of the most hard up kids, or they've got some things going on, and they just say, I just want to be at school. Like that. That's big. It's huge.
I love the chat feature in Zoom. That's been something that's been really helpful in my class. I just start off class with a warm up that is not necessarily math related or not challenging. It's just like, say something in the chat right now, so that you start like, you get used to it, like, oh, I've already been here. Like, so I'll do like a which one does it belong, or we'll do an estimation 180, or we'll do a notice and wonder, or a debate math. Like, we'll do something that is super low stakes, easily accessible to everybody. And the whole goal for me is just to get them to like type in the chat. Like the rest of class, anytime I'm asking them questions, like they're much quicker to respond, because I've already like gotten them to like lean forward into their laptop, or into their Chromebook. Like,
and I decided that I'm just going to have a silent disco party in my classroom. So I just had the kids, hey, I need you all to drop in your favorite song in the chat. And I was just playing it as they were working. And so now when I call on kids, I'll just put my shuffle play. And if your song comes up, that means you're on. And you got to answer the next thing. Or sometimes when they're coming into class, it's just their playlist that they created. And it's kind of been, hey, it's the coolest, awesomest playlist. It's from Brentwood to Queen.
One of the things that I struggled with is building collaboration, getting my kids to have that academic discourse. And so having Eddie shared this idea with me where I set up multiple slides, right? And in those slides, each slide is going to represent a breakout room. And so the kids, when they go into their breakout rooms, they have their roles, they have their responsibilities, they have their jobs that they're going to be responsible for. And so what I do is I put it onto I put it in tile view. And so then I'm able to see all of my students working on this one slide deck. And I'm able to find out who has started, who has not started. And then I can go in there and check in with what's going on. Man, has been a really big game changer, because the kids get in there and they'll have these really good, productive conversations with each other.
Well, I have had a lot of time to reflect on my own doings during this pandemic time. And one thing that has really worked well is that I honestly, don't tell anyone, I only teach for 30 minutes. Rest of the 25 minutes is just talking crap with them, literally. Like, I'm seeing something in the back. Hey, you want to, like you said, Kathy, you want to see my dog? You want to see my backyard fence that was just painted white? Anything, like something that just gets them talking. And because they don't see anybody, so we spend literally 25 minutes. And they don't give me a break to even go and pee. Like, I've barely ended one Zoom. Oh, there you go. And they're already waiting on the next Zoom. Like, can you open the Zoom meeting? So it's good. I like it that I've probably spent a lot more time getting to know them, which I would not have as much in a traditional classroom. I mean, I would have still done my routine check-ins and all that, but it would never have been at this depth. So I feel like I know my kids a lot more now, even though I've never seen them, never met them. I feel like that connection is deep. So when I go back, it's like, take it from there. It's like, there was never a break. We just went out for a weekend and then we are back again, kind of a thing. So I think that's worked really well. Every week, I mean, it's been something I learned in my first year, with a stone on my heart, dreading it every time. I've done a weekly feedback from all my classes. It's something that people initially, all the veteran teachers used to say, don't do it, you'll be broken, because they'll, you know, throw shit on your face and things like that. But I've made it a habit, and it's my 4th year teaching. I'm not a veteran teacher, and every single week I send a feedback to my kids, and every single Sunday night I open that Google form with my heart pounding, because I don't know what they'll say, and I have had all kinds of surprises. But this past 6 months has been the most beautiful feedback ever. Usually the kids would just leave I always leave a comments, anything, speak your heart for Mrs. Raman. That's something I always leave. They would always leave it blank. This past 3 months, it's been pouring. It's been pouring, pouring, pouring. And there are kids who are like, you always ask about us. How is your 7-year-old doing? I have a 98-year-old grandma. She just turned 98 2 days back. So I was telling my kids about it, and I was like, talking about it. And then Friday, when I sent that feedback, they were like, please wish your grandma for us. I'm like, when did they become so caring? Like, they do care. They always do. It's just that I have never looked at it from that lens. And now I feel like there's a whole different perspective to this young bodies I will see. So I think there's a little second heart beating right now inside me.
So can I hear, I'd like to invite you to this space, and you don't have to wait for my chat. What are some of the good things that are going on with you all? I know that you've been dropping some in there. Keep dropping them in there. Yeah, second heartbeat. Sandhya is the real deal, Dr. Berry, right? I love me some Sandhya. Mental health practices, Cassie, yes. Kristen, amen. We're connecting more as humans through this because we need to. Social SEL check-ins, Odetta. Yeah, Jamboard. I get down with some Jamboard, but I think my Jamboard only works when I play a little Bob Marley We Be Jammin'. That's just the way. I don't know if yours is different. I got a different version or something. Yeah, SEL every day. Yeah, virtual co-teaching. So keep dropping those in there. And I want to take 20 seconds real quick, because I know I can't see you all, but we've been on for about 35 minutes, and I want to make sure that you all are okay, because this Zoom fatigue is really big. I like this strategy right here to add another one along with the breathing gifts. 20-20-20. Every 20 minutes, can you stand up, even though I can't see you, and just stare off at something that's 20 feet away. I'm going to stare at this Wu-Tang medallion that I have over here for 20 seconds. So just rest your eyes, stretch the your vision just for 20 seconds. You can take some deep breaths, do some stretching. Just get our eyes off the screen for a little bit. Thank you for that. I kind of needed that. That was a little bit more for me than you, but I hope some people are I think this is a nice, easy one. I'm going to keep inviting my friends to this space and ask them who has helped them throughout.
I'll say that the obvious one is just Twitter in general, being able to see and hear. We're full remote as of right now, and seeing what people are putting in terms of what their hybrid model looks like, or full in-person, whatever train wreck that is. There are people who are sharing their Desmos activities, their modified quizzes. It's like, hey, I got this idea from some teacher in Texas, some teacher in Pennsylvania, some teacher in Northern California. Like, I'm pulling ideas from all over. And right now, I don't need, hey, this fancy new thing. I need, like, how are you grinding through this? How are you staying grounded to your core, your values, your being? I'm also blessed to have, as Justin mentioned, an admin team that is fully supportive. They reached out personally and said, hey, see that you didn't have anything, and actually showed up into my classroom with a mask on and distanced and all that. But hey, is there anything that we can get you to make you feel more comfortable as we start transitioning or talking about the transition back to a hybrid model? And I think that needs to be said. It needs to be acknowledged that there are administrators. I know that there's a lot of admin bashing right now because they're so removed, they're so disjointed from the realities, but there are a good number of administrators and support staff who are in it. They're not teaching the classroom, but darn it, they know exactly what it is that is happening in classrooms, on their campus, what's happening with their students, and they need to be applauded for it.
Social media being the way that it is, it's really easy to say that Facebook and Twitter are like cesspools of vitriol and these awful echo chambers where it's just the same horrendous being circled around over and over again. So I think it's really important to lift up that community that is being so supportive. Without those people, I wouldn't be in the classroom now. I would have left teaching 7 years ago. I would have been out. But the fact that I'm still in the classroom is due entirely to that community. Being a part of that community has completely changed what I see as my purpose and what I see as the purpose of social media. So I think that's an important thing to lift up.
I often find that on Twitter, I'm getting the conversations that I crave and that I need that I'm not finding elsewhere. It's the people that I've met on Twitter who truly have become friends. Is that weird that I have friends that I met on social media have become true friends? And they're the ones I'm reaching out to saying, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, I'm worried about my job. Oh my God, I'm worried about this. What's your idea? Do you have a lesson on this that you can give me so I don't have to stress out and I can spend time with my toddler tonight because I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow morning, or I hate my lesson. They're not charging me money for it. They're embracing me, they're reassuring me, and I'm doing the same for them. Or just talking about silly things like my stupid Peloton riding, and Cheese Monkey and Kate Nowak and I have just been conversing about it. And it's just finding those outlets and people who have the similar thoughts. Y'all make me look spectacular, and I'm not. I just borrow everyone's lessons.
Fawn has shared a ton of Desmos activities for Open Up curriculum. She's taking those practice problems and put them onto the Desmos platform, right? And we're working to get those into Spanish to give more kids access to this. Huge shout out to Cindy Whitehead. She has put so much stuff out there on Desmos, from illustrative mathematics, those Blackline master activities, tasks, Desmos assignments, or practice problems.
Howie, Fawn, I mean, even your midnight pedagogy, and Kim Wogi, John Caripo. I mean,
Jay Chow,
yes.
Jen White. God, I said Cheese Monkey. There's so many people who are just like, here, take my stuff. Here you go.
I have to thank my friend Zamai. This woman is creating the most awesome videos. If you are a teacher and you don't know crap, you just message her. This is what I do. And I say, Za, can you make a video for me because I want to do this? And she sends me a video. And I said it has to be less than 5 minutes or I'm not watching it. I just got her on Twitter because her videos are that good. And I said, you got to get these out. And so she has been amazing.
Oh my gosh, there's so many, Ed. Like, how do I, like, do we have time? And then what if I forget somebody and it's like insulting? Like, I'm afraid to like mention. Oh my gosh. So I work
It's
with
like the Oscars.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, who do I, and then does the order matter? There is one teacher that is I mean, they call us the Wonder Twins. And so every time we have this idea, like we send each other back and forth, like the gif of the Wonder Twins that like, you know, fist bump and like it explodes. His name is Adam Varnes. And I mean, I appreciate him so much. Like, Adam, if you're watching right now, like every time we have an idea, one of us will have an idea and we get together and we talk about it and the idea just becomes exponentially better. Just having a partner like that has just been so helpful. And so I would encourage, like, you know, find yourself an Adam Varnes, find yourself somebody that you can always talk ideas with, like no matter how crazy they sound or how big or grand, or, you know, if it seems like too big a bite to chew off, like just find someone that you can kind of bounce those ideas off. And so he is that for me. And then, like, if I had to mention one more person, probably the most influential person in my educational career, probably like top number one, is Matt Vaudry. I mean, number one, hands down. Like, I'm gonna cry. And I'm glad he's not here because he wouldn't let me finish the sentence if he was on here right now. But Matt Vaudry has just moved mountains for me. He has opened so many doors for me and has just encouraged me and mentored me and just showed me that like what I am doing is awesome and I need to share that with people. And he is always in my corner. He's always has my back. He always helps me with anything that I need. He never lets me not be my best. My relationship with him, you know, now like Ed, I know you, and I've worked with John Stevens and I've worked with Robert Kaplinski. Like, he's just opened so many doors and connected me with so many people that have encouraged me and made me really see like, wow, like this community of teachers here, especially through CMC, like the more that we're connected, the better that we become.
So keep dropping some folks in there. Mariana, there's a shout out in there. People are looking for Zamai's Twitter handle. Drop those Twitter handles in there. If you all are not on the Twitter, it is not just for following like Kardashians or whatever. I don't follow any of that stuff. Like math teachers in general, teachers are in general doing rad stuff and sharing all the stuff. Math teachers in general grab Twitter and are using that tool the most appropriately and strategery wise. So keep dropping Twitter handles in there. Let's save this whole chat, download this chat, spend a whole session. We can just hang out, eat Shakey's Pizza and Mojo's, and then start following people up on Twitter. All right. One more question that I'd like to invite my team to talk about. When all this is said and done, what good do you hope? Because it will be said and done eventually. What good do you hope?
But I just feel like getting the kids back onto something tech when I go back in person will be a challenge. That's
when we go back in person, there will be no devices. We are going to play with blocks.
right.
We are going to do shit that we have never, like, it is going to be pre-dial-up modem.
Yeah.
I keep thinking that from now on, anytime I am asked to do something that I don't want to do, my response can be, you, I taught through the pandemic. I've done enough. So there's like that extra resiliency, like whatever weird stuff I'm going to have to do in the future. It's all right, because I already did this thing. And this thing was beyond awful. Well, we made it through that.
This has just made me realize that nothing is impossible. Like, you think that you can't do this, but you know, just like you said, if you finish this much, you're good to go. And I just feel like when we go back, I'm like, there is an optimism, but there's also a pessimism, and there's a balance there between the two things. So I think coming out stronger is the key in the end for all of us.
I think there's something really interesting about kids being able to turn their cameras off and still be able to talk. Like we have a couple of kids who are having those anxiety struggles and things like that. And like if they have their cameras on, they will not, like, I don't know what their voices are at all, but as soon as they turn their cameras off, they just like spill their whole lives. And that's an opportunity that we don't have in person. And so I've been thinking about how, when we go back, how to sort of create a space where that is still possible.
We right now have the opportunity as educators to completely revolutionize what education is like, access for students, right? Differentiation for students. We have that opportunity right now to change what education will forever be known as. And we get to be the educators that say, you know what? We were the ones that did that. We were the ones that made that change. We were the ones that jumped into distance learning head on, right? We took the bumps and bruises.
My favorite question is, what should Ms. Henderson know? Or I want Ms. Henderson to know. It's funny, we were interviewing people for our department a couple months back, and they said, one of the candidates asked, what is the one thing that you would take with you from this weird environment that we're now in? And I said, those questions where the kids feel like they can just reveal their hearts. And those are the questions that I'm spending the majority of time following up and checking in on them with. It's not the math.
It's hard because when this does get back to normal, is going to come after a lot more tears, a lot more frustration, a lot more learning. You know, we have social unrest, we have racism that is being exposed.
I have homeless kids in foster homes, kids who are living with adult siblings, and those kind of things that they would never talk about in school, maybe because they're scared of their peers. But now they hang out after the class is over. They're like, can I just tell you something? Can I tell you that I'm in an RV today? And John, going back to what you said, and I actually saw one of the kids show their grandpa, and he said, my grandpa is 91, he's not breathing, do you think I should call 911? I am freaking out because I don't know what I was teaching. We were doing a lesson in math, and suddenly this thing pops up. I don't know what to do. I'm not prepared for that. But I guess the kid has nobody else to talk to. There is nobody else in the house. They're so vulnerable. Like these faces of those kids would never have popped up in a brick and mortar setting. So I'm grateful for this window through Zoom or whatever we have, that we're able to see their hearts and see their lives from a whole different perspective.
Is the grandfather okay?
The grandfather is okay. The kid did leave the school, but the grandfather did turn out okay.
I really wish we would all just say, you know what is important in education? Why are we teaching? Why are we here? And it's not that grade. I wish we could just say, forget this year. Teach the love of learning. Teach what makes math beautiful. Teach that, you know what, you don't know how to do that? Let's figure it out. Teach them why it's important to learn versus you need to turn in one assignment so you can get a C+ versus a C-. That's not what education is. I want to teach lifelong learners. I want to teach them that math is beautiful. At the end of this, I hope that we gain a new appreciation for teachers, but also an appreciation for our students. And I hope that as educators, we've always known that our role in our kids' lives is more than just what's in the textbook. And so I hope that other people, entities, governments who fund all these things realize how important equal education is for everyone, and that some students need a lot more support than others, that some schools need a lot more than others. And if we are going to really think about our students as the future, then we need to start acting now, and how we are going to take care of their hearts, how we're going to take care of their physical needs, how we're going to take care of their mental state, for them to really be the strong future that we know is in them right now.
I hope that after all of this, we can really take a hard look at what we think is important in education. I hope that we can see that we have gone through this whole experience and we were not able to do all the things that we have said is so important to do. We had to skip so many of those things or omit those standards or not have that testing or, you know, not have this kind of evaluation or those kind of things. Like, I hope that we can step back and really go, did we really need those things? And maybe put some more emphasis on the things that we realize that we need so desperately right now, like space for mental health, time to take care of ourselves, grace to give to our students, understanding the situations that they're in. And I hope we can really take a hard look at those things and really see what was important during this time and take all the good parts of that.
We've got kids that just want to be in school. So when we're able to, we got to be able to be ready for that moment. Like, we as teachers can't blow that. We can't mess that up. It's not, hey, welcome back. Hey, we got a test on Thursday. So that thing that we've been doing, like, nah, we're in person. Let's be people. Let's use this moment to be human for a little while and embrace that.
Oh, snap. The video over? Hold on. I was getting reminiscent, so I DoorDashed some Shakey's Pizza. I'm going to town on some Mojos right now. I'm getting... Someone say they didn't know what a Mojo is? Man, missing out. Okay, sorry. Mojos are bomb. Okay, let me wash this down with some apple juice real quick. It is apple juice. All right. So this, I kind of feel like I just walked through the convention center hallway, and most of the learning, my favorite learning that happens at CMC, the sessions are awesome, but it's the hallway conversations though, right? And this learning like at Shakey's, where we're talking about, we're getting our mojo back and where the realness happens. I apologize for the language. I try to bleep everything out, but it's real. We're in a global pandemic. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. I bleeped that stuff out. I took a lot of time to bleep that out. It's hard. We're struggling right now. Everyone is struggling. We're collectively solving these problems over a Shakey's, over some Mojos and chicken in the hallway. That's why we get there early, right? That's why we, the sessions are amazing. Do not get me wrong, but it's these conversations where we get real. Like, I'm having a hard time. And we're not even talking about the stuff we were dealing with before this stuff happened. Like, that stuff has been pushed down. We are not okay. None of us are okay. So we need to be honest about that. These hallway conversations, though, that's what I need it for. I need these. These are my Tesla, right? This is the Tesla. I've always remembering that I can hit like, oh, that session was awesome. That session was awesome. But what pictures did I show you of people connecting, and it was in the hallways? So I think I got a little bit more time left, but I did remember I asked you to grab some of these tools. We got to use some of these tools. I know my whole near deck pair pod, went out the window, but grab your whiteboard if you have something, or a piece of paper and a marker, and we're going to use this appropriate tool strategically. And I want to talk about hearing. Oh, you know what? I jumped something. These conversations reminded me, like, this is the best PD I get. What I reminded in these conversations is that, like, my friend Mariana reminded me that how do I creatively give a hug to my students and keep them warm with a sweater and feed them and nourish them, because I'm used to doing that. How do we do that? That's a challenge. You know, and maybe I can DoorDash some things there. Sandhya, listening to Sandhya, like learning about, reminding me to listen with my heart and be open and fearless for feedback about what's going to come back, and be honest about what my students are going to say. I honestly wish our administration, I wish that we were having these type of surveys like Sandhya gives to her students from administration and on down. My friend John, reminding us to be ready for that moment and to be present in each moment, to not lose track of things, because it's not easy. It does suck, but what alternative do we have? We're math teachers, right? This is CMC. This is what we do. My friend Daniel, to innovatively create these collaborative spaces and create space for the most marginalized students, translating Desmos activities into Spanish. My friend Patricia, who's shedding her imposter syndrome and realizing that her voice, and reminding me that I need to shed that too, because we all deal with it, and to speak up, to share what we got, because we all have something to share, and to acknowledge and thank our mentors, like John Stevens, Matt Vaudry, all of these people that are sharing and helping out with us. And then my friend Justin, just thankful that he keeps it real, you know, and he doesn't hold back. And honestly, today, I'm just thankful that he's from Pennsylvania, and there's a different feeling about Pennsylvania today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thankful for Justin and his Pennsylvanians, my Lord. So what we're gonna do with this whiteboard, we got this whiteboard going on, and this reminded me, hearing everyone talk about like how we need to like focus on what's important. I think every single person, one of my friends said, we need to focus on what's important. There's too much stuff to do. We're drowning in this stuff. There's too much to do. Focus on what's important. So a couple of years ago, 2018, CMC had some Ignites, and an amazing gentleman gave this Ignite talk. It was like a 5-minute keynote. I created this grid about like all these overwhelming tasks that teachers are charged with, and putting them on a coordinate of important to not important, urgent to not urgent. And so what I like you to do is take your whiteboard and draw this grid and list out some things. List out some things that are important and urgent. And we can, even if you don't hit all of them, hit quadrant one. Hit quadrant one, okay? Because I think we're running out of time, but I want to make sure we hit quadrant one. So write down what you have for quadrant one and list some things on your whiteboard. If you're on Twitter, please fill out this whiteboard. Do me a favor and tweet this out, and take a picture of this and tweet this out. At least quadrant one. Focus on this quadrant one. What's important? What's urgent right now in pandemic teaching in 2020? Right, November 6th. Is it 6th? I don't know. It's been a long week. So focus on this quadrant and write those down. And because I think we have about 10 minutes left, I want to kind of move forward. But as you're writing those down, better internet connections, okay? If you want to, after you've written some of those down, if you want to type some in the chat. As you're doing that, I did get one of my a Pear Deck to work earlier. So I do love Pear Deck and Nearpod. I didn't want to say it. That's why I called something else. But I think that a lot of these tools sound really weird to people who've never heard them. So I love some Pear Deck. I did send a Pear Deck out here. And let's just focus on quadrant one right here. What did folks say? I sent this out. I tweeted this out earlier. And people said that building relationships is important and urgent. That's what's important right now. Listening to kids, building virtual community is what we need right now. We need self-care right now. We need to ensure the equity of access, creating safe culture, connecting and building relationships, supporting students emotionally, and creating positive learning experiences. and relevant actionable feedback right now. Important and urgent. What's important and urgent right now is the mental health of our students and of our teachers, because we need to stay safe during a pandemic. So as I was interviewing my friends, I kept hearing this theme. So it reminded me of this Ignite talk. And then, do we have 2 minutes left, or do I have extra time? I'm going to need a little more than that. If we can extend that, I'm going to need like 7 minutes, if that's okay. So if we can stay after class. Yeah. In 2018, I thought it was interesting to see what was this quadrant and what was in quadrant 1 then and quadrant 2. And the gentleman that shared this said this was what was happening in quadrant 2. Oh, darn these slides. In quadrant 1 in 2018 was delivering lessons, responding to students, and putting out fires. But quadrant 2 was the whole point of the Ignite. That quadrant 2 is actually where we need to spend more time, but we don't spend that time. We need to build relationships, improve class culture, understand student motivation, address emotional well-being, identifying and undoing systems of oppression. And so what I realized is, and also the gentleman who did this Ignite pointed out that the Roman numeral 2 looked like a pause button, because we don't often give ourselves a pause to make this time. And his whole goal was to schedule these pauses once a month to talk about these things, because we weren't talking about these things before. And I realized now we are. And they're not all happening, but now we are. And I've realized that the world has been paused because of this global pandemic. And yes, it is bad. It is hard. But we are talking about these things. It is crisis as a catalyst for change, right? It shouldn't have taken a pandemic to do this, but we're here. Let's get inside this system and disrupt it all. I'm going to leave, because I already stole Justin's tweet. I'm going to almost close with one of Justin's other quotes. I often, are we ready for this? Like John says, are we ready for this work? And I keep thinking, like, how, if I had to do this in the non-digital age, in the non-conference before CMC, I don't know if we could do this. How am I a part of this team, the CMC team? The team that we're working with right now is incredible. Everyone in this chat is incredible. So amazing. We're having regular conversations about mental health and what we need to do to show up every day. We're having those conversations. It may not be totally happening. We're wishing for all of it to happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say that it is happening everywhere, but we also are having this. And the truth is, this pause is caused by the most dangerous group performance task ever, where half of the group is not doing their job. The worst group performance task on exponential growth ever. And until we can get other folks to join, we've got to do what we can. We can't control that. So I do love that. I want to invite you all, because we care about each other. We have in the hub, Christina Lincoln Moore, Rosa Serratore, and myself are doing some little active, we're raising money, doing a little virtual MK, run any Ks that you want on Thanksgiving Day, but we're doing a practice run tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. And if you join, you can get into the Marco Polo. It's on Twitter. We can have those conversations, because we need to take care of ourselves. And sorry, I lost my cursor. We want to use your, I think one of the last things I have is your bottle of water, right? We want to use this appropriate tool to hydrate. So, but actually, let's save this one to hydrate. And I want to use this bottle for something else. This is actually a very special bottle. I can't see everyone, but are my friends joining me? Hold on, I'm gonna, in the chat, let me know if my folks are joining me. So I want to finish. I want to thank you all for stepping into another Zoom on the week of weeks that we've been in. And this bottle right here is a different bottle. This is a bottle of dreams. Okay, this is a bottle of dreams, and I want to explain where that comes from. This is very special. That 2018 Ignite that I totally ripped off right now by that brilliant mathematician, human being, was from our amazing friend, John Beret. And mid-February, we lost our friend unexpectedly. And we were not able to celebrate. We had a celebration of life scheduled. His family had scheduled a celebration of life for Pi Day to come and celebrate, but that was the week that the NBA shut down and everything just got shut down. So we didn't want to do that. If you all didn't know John, I know some of you did. He was that guy. He was the biggest, most zen, nicest human being I've ever met. That was the smile. His was the smile that you wanted to see when you got to the hallway of the convention center, and it would light up the hallway. And I think he was like 6'4", but he never seemed 6'4". He made you feel like you were 6'4" after talking to him. He was one of the most encouraging, loving people I've ever met. So creative, so caring about students. I met him on Twitter and just got to know him the last 4 or 5 years. Love him to death. And he's just inspired me so much. He's impacted me so much on my life. And I know he's impacted everyone and his students that he's had. So I want to take this bottle of water and first announce that John has a foundation, a scholarship foundation that has been set up by his family, the John C. Beret Foundation. We didn't get to celebrate his life, but now we would like to bring you to help celebrate John's life with his sister-in-law. We have some friends that are joining us. And the scholarship money is going for high school students who are creative in math, who are giving, who are thinking outside of the box. And it's going to be given starting this year. Becky, John's sister-in-law, is here in the Zoom. Becky, would you like to explain a little bit more about the foundation?
Sure, thanks, Ed. Just like you pointed out, I think you're gonna have to mute yours, Michelle. Sorry, we have 2 computers here. Just like you pointed out, we're just so super honored to just carry on John's legacy. John just had passion in everything that he did, and especially that passion for education, not just education, but really embracing education and wanting to be a lifelong learner and always learn more and do more, make everybody feel like they're the most important person in the room. All those characteristics of his, we're just really excited to be able to recognize that in students and celebrate that and be able to award scholarships that will help them in their future as well. So thanks, Ed, just for doing this for us and giving us another chance just to celebrate this remarkable human being. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Becky, and thank you, everyone. What I want to finish with is John, inspired by John's blog post, A Bottle of Dreams. We'll be tweeting this out, and maybe someone can drop this in the link. It's really worth a listen. It's a tradition he started at the end of his classes, the last day of class every year, to make it a big event, a must-see event, to celebrate endings and beginnings and to toast his students. And he would hand out a bottle of water to all of his students. To crack this bottle of water and to toast, I would like to toast first to John Beret, my friend. We miss you. We're going to keep doing the work. We're going to schedule this pause, and we're not going to waste this pause. And then I want to toast every teacher that's out there doing this and struggling. And may this bottle and this water be everything that you need to get out of this weekend. Everything that you need to stay balanced, to stay hydrated, to stay sane, to get that creativity, to survive and inspire and take care of our kids. I want to thank you so much for joining me, to John Beret and CMC math teachers, and to this community.